welcome to another AB Talks. I'm delighted to be joined today by Akshay from Cellulant. Akshay, thank you for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, Akshay, to start with, a simple question. Cellulant, what is your goal of the company? Pan-African payments company. What is your goal? Where are you based? Tell me a little bit about your company so far.
Well, we are today serving the entire continent, so 35 countries, out of which in 18, I have people on the ground, boots on the ground. So it's not just presence. We are a total group of about 400 people, headquartered out of Nairobi. And we process transfers and payments of about $15 billion annually on the continent.
So perhaps you could tell me a little bit about the growth of the company so far since inception. How old is the company?
Well, the company is 15 years, but over the last 3 or 4 years, we've morphed ourselves from being a switch for the banking system to being more of a merchant payment-focused business. And we're seeing almost 120%, 130% annual growth in our core business, which is merchant-focused.
So why go for the solution through the merchants instead of the customers? A lot of the payments platforms often decide to go customer first. What drew you to the merchants?
I mean, we realize that we've built the most prolific infrastructure, payments infrastructure in Africa. And it's sort of like having unique access to all the roads in a country. You've built those roads. Now the question is, how do you extract the most value out of that for your business? And we realize that the most valuable part of that ecosystem is actually serving merchants. And so that's the direction that we decided to take.
And talk to me about the scale of the opportunity here. In terms of where you're looking at the moment and what the future holds, what kind of scale are we looking at?
Yeah, firstly, I think across Africa, this opportunity is probably, the way I think about things is, let's say 2 to 3 times GDP of the continent. Because when you think about, say, a market like Kenya, Kenya is a $100 billion GDP market, and digital payments in Kenya is $200 billion. Yeah. So when you kind of extrapolate that logic, Kenya being a little more advanced on digital payments, and you say, okay, what's the GDP of the continent? Give or take $1.5 to $2 trillion, multiply that by 2,
double it,
it's like $4 trillion. That's the opportunity you're sitting on. Interestingly, that's what we're going after. And a portion of that is online and a portion of that is offline or in the stores. And we are going after both.
So in terms of what the merchants get, what are the benefits to the merchants of this platform? What do they get out of it instead of a normal payment solution?
See, the biggest value in Africa is that the credit card penetration, leave aside 1 or 2 countries such as South Africa out of the picture, or Morocco. If I leave those 2 countries out and I think about credit card penetration across the continent, it's 3%, 2%, maybe even 1%, depending on the country, right? And therefore, it's probably the most diverse set of payment options that you really have anywhere that you would find on the globe, right? So the number of mobile money connections we have is 60. The number of banks, every country has at least 20 banks. And then if I multiply that by 54 countries, that's 1,080 banks. Yeah. So kind of when you look at the variety of options, it's a lot. And now for a merchant, if you want to accept so many different payment methods, one from this telco, one from that bank, how do you do that when credit card and debit card doesn't work? Yeah. And that's what we solve. So what we are solving for the merchant is to be able to accept any payment method locally in the market, unified into a single platform called Ting, which is a brand by Cellulant, and then the merchant can accept that payment from that method.
So tell me.
So he only connects us. He only connects to us once, and once he connects to us, he gets everything at the back.
So you're funneling all of the other payment options into his one outlet.
Exactly.
Is another way of putting it.
Exactly.
So talk to me about what's on the horizon here for the company then. If you created this platform, what's next? What can we expect to see?
So the intention is to just significantly grow both our online business and our offline business. And we are right now raising our Series D. We're raising $100 million on the in that Series D round. And we expect that once we've raised the capital successfully, we'll be able to access much deeper some of the markets where we're present and just fundamentally grow it. There's just a lot of organic growth. So frankly, there's enough room for us to keep growing for the next 10 years, actually, just given the scale of the opportunity that's available. We're just scratching the surface.
Well, it would be very interesting to see how you get along with that.
Yeah.
But my final question for you is going to be all about Unite Dubai. We're here in the UAE, so a couple of things for you. Why have you decided to join in the conversation here in the Middle East? And secondly, what are your thoughts on Unite, the idea about engaging in more collaboration, finding new investment routes?
Yeah. Well, I've lived in Dubai for several years in the past. And in fact, only last year moved to Nairobi. So been part of this region. I feel that this is a region where there are a lot of investors who are looking to invest in emerging markets. India, China, Africa are all interesting geographies for some of the regional investors that are based out of this region. And that's sort of our thinking around wanting to be here and participate in that conversation, because there is a lot of flow through between the Middle East and Africa, even in terms of capital flows. Yeah. And as a payments business, we also enable remittance into those countries, into the geographies where we operate. So we just feel like this is the right place to be from whichever angle I look at it, whether it's new business, whether it's potential investors who want to look at us as a business to invest in. Unite Dubai, I've only known it for like maybe 2 years, but always had a great experience. I think it's a great platform where people are able to come together, just have conversations about what can work. You skip through a lot of riffraff of most of the events and get down to talking about what is it that you really want to achieve out of an event like this, right? And I think it's just great to meet the variety of people that you do at a place like Unite Dubai.
Well, with that, Akshay, I'll thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you at the conference later this evening. Thank you very much.
Look forward to. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.